Hey everybody, a weather update for you on this now Monday evening, the 26th day of July. I'm going to talk about a lot of things, including some heat coming this week, a big change with drier air coming in, possibly some severe weather with that. We'll look longer term into next week, see what we see coming. And speaking of longer term, I'm also going to take you way out. We're going to look at some long-term projections. I'm going to kind of compare this July to another July that might have been similar, and then I'm even going to give you a hint of some of the long-range computer model forecast for the upcoming winter. People are starting to ask about that. It's a long ways away, but we'll kind of play around with it and show you a few things. So a lot to get to. We're going to start first of all by this smoke, which was a big story last week. As you notice here on Monday, not as much. If you may have noticed more of a blue sky out there today, not as much haze. We think that's going to get a little worse the next 2 days. This is our computer forecast, and it does show it intensifying some on Tuesday and probably a bit more on Wednesday. So you'll probably notice a little bit more smoke and haze in the air in the coming couple of days. I also wanted to show you this, a 90-degree day so far this year. We actually hit 90 on Monday here at the station, so that's 6 times. It's kind of hard to see, but underneath that little thing where my picture is, 33 is the average, a long-term average, so we're way behind. However, we're going to make up some ground in the coming days with some heat that's going to build in. I want to show you dew points. Dew points are going to be a factor as we head through this week. 70 or above is really uncomfortable. I'm going to let this play through as we go through Tuesday. We're in the mid to upper 60s. Then as we get into Wednesday, we see some lower 70 dew points, and that's just the beginning. I think that the highest dew points will be on Thursday before that front moves in. How about rain chances? Well, I'm just going to let this play because I don't see anything over the next 2 days. But I do want you to watch something here as we get into the end of this cycle, which is going to be getting into late Wednesday. We anticipate a cluster of thunderstorms to develop to the north and then swing south. So if you notice Wednesday night, about 8:30, we got a pretty good cluster of storms just north of here. Those may skirt northeast of the area Wednesday night. Depending on how much cloud cover is left over with that, we also have things called outflow boundaries, which are basically like little fronts that come out with cooler air of the system. That's going to set the stage for what could be some active weather on Thursday. So I think we're good for 2 days, but after that we'll have to keep an eye out. I also want to hit the heat because that's going to be a factor. Right now, there's an excessive heat watch west of here in Iowa, parts of South Dakota, Minnesota, and heat advisories down around Kansas City, parts of Missouri, things like that. Not anything here yet because it's not going to be excessive in the next couple of days, but I really think that there'll be a heat advisory issued for this area on Thursday. I think Thursday is the day it will peak. I think the heat index will be between 100 and 110. I stress to remember that's in the shade. If you're in the sun, it'll be higher. And underneath there, I've got, don't forget about the pets, neighbors, elderly, things like that, because it's going to be a very hot and humid day on Thursday before that front arrives. And just a reminder, if you look at this map here, these are weather fatalities, and I basically want you to look at the yellow bars. That's long term, over the last 30 years, and there is no comparison. Heat is the number one weather killer in our country on average every year, flooding number 2 in the last 30 years. So slow down, take it easy over the next 2 or 3 days before we see a break from the heat coming up. And we can time that out for you. Here's our map for Thursday morning. There's the front to the north. This is Thursday morning. Notice by Friday morning it's through. So it's Thursday afternoon, evening. We see the front come through. This is now Friday. Refreshing air mass moves in. High pressure giving us a break from the heat and humidity. This is Saturday. This is actually Sunday now, also looking pretty good, and now this is getting into Monday. So the front comes through on Thursday, and we break down the heat and humidity, and things actually get a lot better by the end of the week and the upcoming weekend. So in a nutshell, here's our forecast for the next several days. We see those thunderstorms on Thursday with a high of 93, again heat index over 100. And then could see a few scattered showers on part of Sunday, but right now the chances aren't great. It's something we'll watch, but you can definitely see the somewhat cooler and drier air moves in by the end of the week and the upcoming weekend. All right, let's highlight some things here. This is forecast on the GFS for the dew point in the afternoon on Thursday. Very seldom do you ever see dew points at 80 or above here, and we're forecasting dew points around 80 degrees. That's pretty rare. And 80 dew point is extremely humid air. So, the air temperature is going to be in the 90s, and there's going to be a lot of moisture around as well. So, same model, same time, middle of the afternoon on Thursday, is forecasting heat index values, as I was thinking, 100 to 110. Just for example, it has 107 in Terre Haute. So Anything over 105 would be what we call the criteria for a heat advisory. We'll probably see that issued for Thursday. And now this is a thing, we call it CAPE, it's just storm energy, but I mean this is some crazy amounts of energy in the atmosphere as the front moves in. So we have some of the ingredients in place that could lead to some severe weather on Thursday if everything comes into play. We'll see what happens. This is that same model forecast with a line of storms stretching from Cincinnati to Terre Haute all the way to Springfield, Illinois. And again, this is the middle of the afternoon on Thursday. So Thursday's the day we'll watch to see what happens, and then the front will break the heat and humidity down after that. As a matter of fact, this is now the dew point projection for next Sunday night. So the front comes through, we get the drier, cooler air, and our dew points go from near 80 on Thursday to near 50 on Sunday night, Monday morning. I mean, that's an amazing change in the air mass, and that's why we may end up with some of those stronger storms because of that big transition. Okay, let's talk longer term before we wrap up here. I just wanted to show you, this is the European weeklies. This is for the next 45 days. Basically, it gets us all the way into the first part of September. It does show a warmer than normal in this area. Not excessive, but warmer than normal. But there's been a trend of wet weather this spring and summer, and as you can see, kind of the same. I mean, southeastern Indiana shows a little below normal, but a lot of the two-state area looking at above normal on precip. Again, this is going to be out for quite a while, for the next 46 days. So probably warmer than normal, probably a little wetter than normal as we continue through the summer. Now here's an interesting comparison. What we're looking at here is the temperature anomalies for high temperatures through the month. And it's been really hot, as we know, in the west, and it's been cooler than normal here in this part of the country. I mean, we've had 6 days where it's been 90 or above. So I tried to find another time in July through this date when it was similar, and I went back for 40 years. And I couldn't find any that were exact, but this one's kind of close. So get a picture of what you're looking at there, and now you got this. I mean, it's a little different. You know, the heat now is extending into the high plains. It's not quite as cool here, but it's similar. And this was the closest one I could find. This was in July of 2014. And the winter of 2014-2015 was a pretty tough winter. It was cold, a lot of snow. I mean, it's just one thing we'll look at, but I thought that was interesting to compare that, and then that was a winter that was pretty tough coming up. So we'll wrap up with this. This is the CFS monthly seasonal forecast for the winter, December, January, and February, and it shows temperatures near normal in this part of the country. But look at this, it shows above normal precip. So if that's the case, could be an interesting winter coming up. And then I wanted to show you one last thing. It's the same model, but now what we're looking at is this is January, February, March. So we get through December. Now this really would put the hammer down as far as some cold wintry weather. And again, it's a long ways away. It may completely change, but I just wanted to show it to you. If this is the case, maybe you know, the winter comes on hard, especially in the second half for a large part of the nation's midsection and the Ohio Valley. So we have a lot to talk about in the coming days. Again, the heat's going to be an issue the next 2 or 3 days. Peaks on Thursday. Could be some severe weather Thursday afternoon, evening. We drop the temps and the humidity levels for Friday into the weekend. Generally fairly dry weather into next week. And as you saw, some long-term indications of what, we'll see what the winter may be like in the coming days. So that's everything weather for tonight, and we'll keep you up to date. Just be ready for the heat and humidity over the next coming days.